Good morning, folks.
Good morning.
All right. I'm Nathaniel Reveal. We're going to start today's service with a little hymn called Now Let Us Sing. It's really simple. It's got a very short list of words. It does have two parts. There's a high part and a low part. You'll kind of see them as they happen. So this is one of those things where you kind of listen to the first verse and you're like, oh, okay, I get it. And then the second verse and then the third verse happens. All right. So if you're on Zoom and you can see the screen, there's blue lyrics and green lyrics. But if you're with us in person, that may be tricky. So there you go. And if standing is something that helps you sing, by all means, you're welcome to stand. So let's sing and we'll catch on as we go.
Now let us sing,
Sing to the
sing, sing, sing. Now let us sing,
Sing to the
sing, sing, sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the faith within. Now let us sing,
Sing to the
sing, sing, sing. Now let us sing,
Sing to the
sing, sing, sing. Lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the hope within. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice. Be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the love within. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Now let us sing, 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 sing. Lift up your voice, be not afraid. Now let us sing to the power of the joy within.
I'm going to invite the Reverend Denise Gouch up. She can start us off this morning.
Good morning. I'm the Reverend Denise Gouch, and it is my great pleasure to serve as the minister of this congregation. Today's service on this beautiful spring morning, we're going to be exploring April's Soul Matters theme, which is awakening. So good morning and wake up. This morning, I got some news, so I'm asking Sandy to light a memorial candle for our beloved Barbara Belfilio, who died last night around 8 o'clock in the evening. She spent yesterday with her family, and I'm told her passing to the ranks of the ancestors was peaceful. And her family, her extended family, was able to be with her. So we are grateful for her presence among us and proud to add her to our ancestors. And Sandy, if you'll just stay there, we will light our chalice lighting, which was written, it's an excerpt from Rumi, our favorite Persian poet. The breeze at dawn has secrets to tell you. Don't go back to sleep. Nat.
Unitarian Universalists as a denomination do not ask, what do we together believe? Instead, we ask, what values together do we embrace? And how will we work on those values together? So we'll recite a covenant in a moment. Please join me if this is something that is important to you. We covenant together to make a welcoming community, to walk together in the way of truth and love, to seek the life of the Spirit as it is known by each person, to support each other in thought, word, and deed as we work to build a better world. Rachel Carson, the mother of environmentalism, wrote, "A child's world is fresh and new and beautiful, full of wonder and excitement. Some of us are lucky because we are still children in our bodies, and some of us are lucky because we are still children in our minds. Others of us, we were children once, at least. The world is alive when you're a child. The trees whisper, animals speak, playgrounds are castles, and the stars tell you you are special. This magic isn't imprisoned in childhood. As we've grown older, we've all had moments where we've come alive, wonderfully lost in our favorite sport, music, or creative act. All of us are awake when we enjoy simple things, like a sunset, the smell of bread, the taste of blackberries, a deer staring at us as we stare back. For these fleeting moments, we lack nothing. We feel gifted beyond comprehension, and we know what rich really means. Yes, sometimes there's something like a fog between us and the world. It's surprising, actually, how easily dullness can sneak in, how often life becomes muted. There are, however, always the memories of the whispering tree and blackberries, memories of wonder that can be brought back. Sometimes we may forget what it feels like to be fully awake, but forgetting can mean remembering. It means we can help each other to remember, and remembering opens a door back. So this month, let's help each other remember so that we can be more easily awake. For our Time for All Sages, Lee Morris has a story about the empty cup and an accompanying song.
Let me tell you about the empty cup. There once was a very wise and revered teacher whose students came from all over the land to learn, to grow. One day, a very important person decided that she would study with this teacher in case there was something more that she could learn as well. So she traveled to the teacher's home, sat down, and presented herself. You've probably heard of me. You probably know about my accomplishments and all the things that I've done and my reputation as a very important person. The teacher began by offering a cup of tea. Gratefully, the VIP accepted. When the tea was ready, the teacher set it on the table and began to pour. At 3/4 of a cup, the VIP said, "That'll be enough, thank you." Yet the teacher continued to pour. When the cup was full, the new student said, "Please, that's enough, thank you." The teacher continued to pour and the tea began to spill over onto the table, hot tea in her lap. And she said, "Enough, what are you doing? Why are you continuing to pour this tea? I said that's enough." The teacher calmly continued to pour and said, "I would love to teach you. It would be my great pleasure. But I'm afraid you are too much like this overflowing cup. In order for you to learn something new, you must first become empty." This story reminds us of the beauty and the possibility of awakening to each moment afresh, with new eyes, open to new insights, so that we can constantly be growing. This story inspired this song. Wake up, begin again, this is a new day. Open your eyes, the sun has never shone this way, it's never been this day. You sure you've heard it all before, sure you've seen it all before.
Each month, we choose an organization in the local community or the broader community with which to share our contribution. That's our Share the Plate partner. April's Share the Plate partner is the Unitarian Universalist Ministry for the Earth, which envisions a world in which reverence, gratitude, and care for one another and for the living earth is central to the lives of all people. We've got information on the screen about how to donate, and they shared with us an introductory video.
The Unitarian Universalist Ministry for Earth is rooted in core values of faith and spirituality, environmental justice, partnership, and collective action. We are inspired to facilitate UU practices that honor and sustain the earth and all beings. We are ready to create climate justice, showing up in solidarity with Indigenous frontline communities and catalyzing a just transition to an ecological civilization through strengthening local climate commitments, advocating for a Green New Deal, and more. We are fortifying a powerful and united network of Unitarian Universalists working for Earth justice. Join us.
So before we begin our interactive activity, let's take a moment for a little bit of quiet. There's a song that we hear sometimes called From You I Receive, and it has a few hand gestures that go with it. So I'll teach you the hand gestures, and then we'll start with the actual song. So it goes, from you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and by this we live. All right. So from you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and by this we live. Okay? All right. Again with music.
From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and by this we live. From you I receive, to you I give, together we share, and by this we live.
So like the Reverend Denise said, our theme this month is awakening. Awakening, when you're in a rut, takes practice. It means slowing down to think about what's important and weighing things thoughtfully. It's easy, especially in our status update culture, to pay attention only to the surface of things and to not look deeper. And when we don't look deeper, we risk falling into shallow living. Today, we're going to explore ways of deep living, a calling from the fourth Unitarian Universalist principle, the free and responsible search for meaning. Deep living is a way of reminding ourselves that our faith challenges us to wake up to what really matters. When did you first awaken to the truth that the world's rules, judgments, and strivings did not have to be your own? Society tempts us to live on the surface in so many ways. It celebrates looks, status, money, materialism. Which one of society's temptations to shallowness do you most struggle with? Do you think Escaping shallow living is harder for teenagers, for people in their midlife, for seniors. And what does living beneath the surface mean? To help us answer some of these questions, we have a short little video.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
All right, let's do this.
Scene zero, take one. Mark?
So we've got one question that we want to ask you today.
Okay, well, what's that question?
The question is, if you could change one thing about your body, what would it be?
Only one.
I would change my forehead. I have a really big forehead.
I'd like to be taller.
The puffiness of my face.
My ears. I have big ears.
Stretch marks after having a baby.
A lot of times, like, kids would make fun of me, like, hey man, you get big ears, you got Dumbo over there, you know?
Definitely my skin, because I've dealt with acne and eczema issues ever since I was a little kid.
我小时候，因为大家比较喜欢大眼睛的那种美女，所以我就也希望自己眼睛能大一些。
Growing up, like a lot of people call me like five head, or like your forehead's so big. They've always like would say something to me about it.
Yo diría porque muchos todos caminan derecho y como que mi pie está un poco chueco.
When I was younger, I felt like I wasn't quite adequate enough.
Can you sit on the chair?
No.
All right, I'm going to ask you one question.
What's the question?
If you could change one thing about your body, what would you change?
You know, have a mermaid tail.
Probably like a shark mouth, so I could eat a lot of stuff.
I could have teleportation in my body. Extra pointy ears. I want legs like a cheetah so I can run faster like a cheetah. I could have wings so I could fly.
I don't think there's anything to change.
I like my body actually.
Yeah, you wouldn't change anything?
Nothing else. Just a mermaid tail.
A lot of people obsess about getting older and about the wrinkles. I love my white hair. I loved it when it started turning white. It's one of those things, because I chose to stay this way, because it just wouldn't be me if I totally changed the way I look.
So society has a lot of things that it wants to put in our proverbial cup. And so if we're listening to Leah Morris's story, maybe we need to empty our cup of the things that society gave us, our preconceived knowledge, when we're presented with a question, so that we can find new ways of answering it. So let's play a game. Let's do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25 people and one question. Take a moment to think about this question and try and empty what you think you know about this question. Weigh things thoughtfully and then see if an answer rises up from below. If you'd like to share, you can come up to the mic. If you're on Zoom, wave your hand and we'll connect you in as well. So here's the question. If there's one thing that you've said no to, what would it be if you could be brave enough to, in fact, say yes? So think about that for a minute, and I'll step away from the microphone. And if you find something that you'd like to share, come on up.
Hello, I'm Sandy Blands. I said no to going on to college immediately after high school. That was fun for me, but I do wonder what things would have been like if I had immediately started school then.
I am Karen Spencer Smith, and I said no to reapplying for medical school. I had applied for medical school and I was waitlisted, and I was a little disappointed. It was the year of Hurricane Andrew, which kind of tells you how old I am. And I was kind of old for a student then too. But that year, I had known Jesse. Jesse and I started dating. We got married shortly thereafter. We had a child. I still look back at it as the thing that I was happy that I looked into, and the best thing I never did, because I would not trade my life for that at all.
I'm Larry. This is a very old one, but when I was about 18, 19, I was in the reserves, and I was being trained to be a mechanic, and we went through this training for about 2 weeks. And the sergeant came around last night before we went back to Memphis, and what do you think about being in the mechanic section? And I did what 6 of the 10 of us did. I said, "Yeah, I don't care. Who gives a flip?" And then when we got back to the next reserve meeting, all the guys said, "I kind of like it." Got a promotion, and I and the other guys with their cocky attitude didn't get one.
Hi, I'm Carol. I guess a lot of us are going way back in to find those things, but I guess they've stayed with us. So I guess they're an important part of who we are. One thing I regret, when I was in training to be a speech language pathologist, I was involved in different practica, and I was offered a chance to be in an infant feeding group and to learn how to, feed infants with cleft palates or with feeding issues and everything like that. And I just felt like I had too much on my plate and didn't do it. And then later on, I regretted it because I thought so many more children I could have helped a little bit more adequately instead of passing them on to someone else. I could have done something more. So that's kind of my thing, that I wish I would have taken that infant feeding group.
Hi, I'm Jane. I wish that I had allowed myself to write more seriously than I did. I think I would have a fuller life and be more articulate as far as expressing myself, because it gets better with practice. But I felt too vulnerable, so I said no. And I suppose I could change to a yes now, but old habits die hard. So I'm just sorry about that. Thank you.
I'm Pegatha. This past year, I have had so many challenges, and I've let them get me bogged down and feel overwhelmed, and I'm sure caused some physical issues that I could have avoided if I'd learned one thing. Finally, I am hearing in books I'm reading and things people are saying, live in the moment. This moment is all I have. And as I'm getting that in my mind, I'm thinking I can only deal with one thing at a time, and I can do that. I do not have to deal with all of these things at one time, which is stressing me out. So I'm keeping my fingers crossed that I'll keep remembering I just one thing at a time.
Hello, my name's Kristen. I do a lot of things for a lot of other people, and I feel like it's something I'm really good at. It's caretaking. And I'm one of 4 children, and I take care of a lot of my other siblings, and when they get divorces and when they marry people from Mexico that need to come to the United States, and things like that. And I do a lot of caretaking on this church too. And I think one of the things I might need to be braver with in the future is actually saying no to people, so that I have a little bit more time to carve out for myself. But that's scary, because when you say no to people, then you worry about them. And, so also let's remember, Jesse, do we have anyone on Zoom who wants to talk? Okay.
I like the way you said that, Kristen. That a time when you said no, but you wanted to be brave enough to say yes, was more like a time when you kept saying yes and you thought maybe the right answer right now is no, I will not do that. Was it Brene Brown's thing? Choose discomfort over resentment. Yeah. So there you go. Whew. All right. There's a couple of hymns we've got coming up. This next one is called We Shall Be Known by the How to Thrive Virtual Choir.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive in this great turning. We shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle round to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time now. It is time now that we thrive. It is time we lead ourselves into the well. It is time now, and what a time to be alive in this great turning. We shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love. In this great turning, we shall learn to lead in love.
I'm going to invite Reverend Denise up to lead us in joys and concerns.
Are we still on the live stream? Do we need to end the live stream?
So those of you on YouTube, thank you so much for joining us, and we hope you will join us again.